So I want to talk about the shutdown because this is a unique thing, right? This doesn't happen all the time. So what does this mean for us with business development? There's a couple things that are just obvious, right? They're not going to be there for us to call, and they're going to find a way to solve this problem. It's not, we didn't start the problem, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But they will pass a budget for fiscal year 2018 that's going to be over $500 billion. We'll see a mini spike in March and April, and the big spend will happen just as it always does in September, right? So we always know what we're looking for September. Now, what I want to talk about, though, is using the shutdown as a conversation piece. Because one of the biggest problems we have is just cracking open that door between us and whoever it is that we're trying to reach, right? So if we use this as a conversation piece, I got a couple pieces of advice and this goes to negative situations as well, but we want to know what in the world is this meaning to them? What do they think about it? How does it affect them? And what do they need help with right now? So you can parlay. Do you see how that parlays from, hey, what do you think about this crazy stuff that's happened in Washington, D.C.? How does it affect you personally? And I did this last time there was a shutdown. It worked great. And then what do you need help with right now because of that? And just listen to them, and they may give you some really, really good information. They probably will, especially when it comes to having personal information that's happening. First thing to do, though, is realize, first of all, neither of us caused this problem. You didn't cause it with your contracting. We didn't cause it from outside. It's just the knuckleheads that cannot get their act together in Congress, right? That's the problem. Neither of us caused the problem, and neither of us can solve the problem. So as a result of that, we're kind of insulated to be able to do whatever, say whatever we want, right? We can complain, we can talk about it, but ultimately, the piece that we really want to talk about is what we can solve for them. So we can literally take this conversation piece, this big elephant in the middle of the room, where how does this, shutdown affect you and all that stuff? Talk about it, understand it, and then get to a place where we say, hey, obviously I didn't cause a problem. You didn't cause a problem. We're just stuck with this problem. We can't solve it. The only thing we can do is concentrate on what we can solve. So let me tell you what we do. We provide this, and this. Is that on your plate? Or we provide this, and this. Tell me how I can best help you reach those goals, something that we can both work on together. So here's the thing. If you're dealing with a negative situation, things like political divisions, this is loaded with them, right? You have right, left, Republican, Democrat that can't get along, big divisions, DACA, whatever you want to throw into that. People get highly emotional and charged about these things, and they have a belief of high impact because of it. If they're connected, some of the people are just like, I don't care. I'm just trying to do my job. I can't do my job if they're not going to pay me. I can't do my job if they're going to say I'm not essential. All those things, all personal things wrapped up in this too. But you have political separations and all those things. Make sure you're paying attention not to connect yourself on either side. Be empathetic. Listen to them. Hear what they have to say. Kind of get a sense of how it's affecting their life, right? Last time this happened, it created a problem for people because they weren't sure about their paycheck. So tap into what's important to them, and you'll start to get to some of their buying motives as well. The biggest thing, though, is once you've identified, you're empathizing with them. Man, that's really bad. I feel bad for you, and I'm sorry that's happened. Obviously, in the private sector, we don't have those problems like you're having right now in the private sector. We have different problems, but we don't have those problems, right? So most important thing, though, is to then draw that delineation between you and the negative issue. If they associate that negative issue with you, you're done. You will not move forward. In their brain, you're just that, you caused the problem. So what we need to do is draw a clear delineation between you and the negative issue. That's where we say things, well, obviously it's not your fault, certainly not my fault. They can't get their act together. There's your delineation. Then you have to make sure you get buy-in from the prospect that you actually achieve that separation. So being able to say, it wasn't my fault, certainly wasn't your fault, right? Trial closed. No, it wasn't either one of our faults. Have them say that. You defined that you separated yourself from the negative situation. Now you can leverage what you just did because you have the buy-in from them, and now you can move to align yourself on the same side of the table. If it happens to be janitorial services, then you can say, hey, this is what we can work on together. So you and I could be working together on the same side. We're on the same side. We didn't cause the problem. We're obviously not on that side of the problem. So now you can align yourself to being on the same side of the table and finally set that common goal, right? You want to get a common goal, say, hey, why don't we work on this together? And then start working on it together right then. Well, I'm going to leave you with this, just like I always do, engaging your prospects. Somebody's going to be sold. Either you're going to sell them that you are valuable enough to meet with, or they're going to sell you that you're not valuable enough to meet with. And that's just the way it is.